They were co-writing literary darlings until they hit a plot hole that turned their lives upside down. 3 years ago, Katrina Freeling and Nathan Van Huysen were the brightest literary stars on the horizon, their co-written book topping bestseller lists. But on the heels of their greatest success, they ended their partnership on bad terms, for reasons neither would divulge to the public. They haven't spoken since, and never planned to, except they have one final book due on contract. Facing a crossroads in their personal and professional lives, they're forced to reunite. The last thing they ever thought they'd do again is hole up in the tiny Florida town where they wrote their previous book, trying to finish a new manuscript quickly and painlessly. Working through the reasons they've hated each other for the past 3 years isn't easy, especially not while writing a romantic novel. While passion and prose push them closer together in the Florida heat, Katrina and Nathan will learn that relationships, like writing, sometimes take a few rough drafts before they get it right. Chapter 2. Nathan. I'm on my 3rd iced tea. I would order coffee, except it's gauche to order iced coffee from the bartender. Fuck, though, I'm exhausted. I feel sleeplessness singeing my corneas. The small revolt they're staging for the post-midnight hours I spent in front of my new manuscript. It's this thriller I'm working on, where the wife of a federal agent stumbles onto the possibly criminal secret he's hiding. I look like hell, the product of being on a plane yesterday, then riding into the night, then getting shitty sleep in my non-Four Seasons hotel. It leaves me undeniably out of place in O'Neill's, the trendy bar where I haven't set foot in years. When I lived in New York, I'd come here to meet other writers, with gold-rimmed mirrors, marble tabletops, and cocktails named after playwrights. O'Neill's was the place to be seen, which I liked. But it's been 2 years since I left the city I could feel turning on me, needing a fresh start following my divorce. Sorry to make you wait. My agent sits down across from me. Jen Bradley is middle-aged, fearsome in negotiations, and fantastic with working out plot holes. She's the second agent I've had in my career. After only once, I had my pick of literary agents. I chose Jen for her straight-shooting sensibility and her intelligence, which she's shown in selling my solo manuscript. It's fine, I say, washing the words down with iced tea. How are you? Busy, Jen replies. How was your tour? I have to smile. Straight to the point. I just wrapped up a week-long book tour for my new novel, Refraction. It was a whirlwind of bookstores in Midwestern cities, nondescript hotels, dinners of room service Caesar salads every freaking night, hour-long flights between airports named for one president or another, which were the best parts of my day for the refuge I could take in writing on the plane, running wild on this new thriller. Fewer stops than the last one, I admit. Pretty good turnout, though, Jen eyes me. Okay. Mediocre turnout, I amend. They did crap marketing, and you know it. I was prepared for Refraction to get less promotional support than only once. When we sold the book, it was clear my publisher was settling. What they wanted was another Katrina and Nathan book. It was Jen who convinced them that this was the next big thing. One half of the duo whose book sold 15 million copies and counting wasn't someone to turn down. Her mouth flattens. She's displeased. First week numbers aren't what they'd hoped. She lets the sentence hang in the chatter of the room. I nod. While I suspected sales numbers were low, I don't like hearing my suspicions confirmed. In the pause, I drift from the conversation. I have this problem. At least my ex-wife Melissa would say, problem. Where when I'm not immediately engaged in what's in front of me, my mind returns to whatever I'm writing, which right now is the critical scene where Sarah confronts her husband. It's a referendum on their marriage with huge high-intensity implications, and I'm hungry to put it on the page. Will the numbers hurt their offer? I ask, remembering I haven't yet sold the book I'm working on now. I submitted the proposal months ago, and we've heard nothing since. Jens explained the publisher didn't want to offer until they had sales information on refraction. Truthfully, I don't even care what they pay me. It's not like I need the money. I've never needed the money. A trust fund and an Ivy League education took care of that long before Only Once was an idea in the back of my head. Even with the divorce, in which I willingly gave Melissa half of Only Once's royalties, I still don't need money. What I need is to write. I'm not me if I can't write. Jen frowns. Her fingers worry her delicate gold watch. She says nothing. It scares me. Don't sugarcoat it now. While she hesitates, my mind rehashes the scene I'm working on. It feels less like a reverie now, more like a coping mechanism. Sarah's in their kitchen. The domesticity of this setting purposeful. She doesn't need to speak. He knows. He says. They're going to pass on the proposal. Wait. I refocus on Jen. The words I just heard weren't in my head. They were from her. They're going to pass on the proposal. The weight of it settles on me. They're rejecting me. I wasn't rejected from Dartmouth. Wasn't rejected when Katrina and I queried our agent. Wasn't rejected when we sold connecting flights or Only Once on proposal. I haven't been rejected from anything. No, that's not true. It hurts. No matter how much success you've had, insecurity is never far from reach when you're being judged on pieces of your soul. If you won't kill your darlings, I guess someone else will. There's no indignation where I expected there to be, only whispers of doubt newly insistent in my head. I force my next words past them. Wallowing won't help. Okay, it's a setback, but I'll write something else. What are they looking for? This is how I'll fight those whispers. I'll write. I have enough ideas in my head to fill my hard drive. It's not difficult to imagine, if given the time, loving one of them the way I do this one. Nathan. Jen says my name forcefully. It's her reality check voice. What? I have the 1950s novel I was developing. They don't want another book from you. I've never felt O'Neill's was small. The extravagance is part of the point. The grandeur of the floor plan, the glittering shelves of liquor, the expensive suits and handbags of the patrons. With Jen's words, the place feels small. The walls press inward, warping nauseatingly. I fight the sensation. So we'll submit wide, I say. Send the manuscript everywhere. I'm a New York Times best-selling author. I have a movie in development. I've had other publishers salivating over me for years. I'm half convincing her with my confidence, half convincing myself. We could, Jen replies levelly. We won't get a good offer, though, which would eventually kill your career. Your sales are dropping and your reviews are lackluster. I clench my hand reflexively on my drink. I know she's right. What's more, I know why. Anything I write is compared to Only Once, which is unfair. It's ridiculous to compare me to one of the most successful books of the past 5 years. I wrote it, but not alone. Of course it's better. Katrina's a genius. It's why I walked up to her on the first day of the New York Residence Writers Program, dazed from the power and clarity of the excerpts she'd read, and practically prostrated myself telling her that I wanted to collaborate. I remember how surprise didn't enter her round eyes, how she'd said yes like it was easy. The first night out there in Cooperstown, New York, we left the introductory dinner with our workshop classmates together. We introduced ourselves for real, got to know each other. She was fresh out of undergrad, unlike me. I kind of figured she couldn't be single, though the question only crossed my mind objectively. I'd proposed to Melissa 3 months prior and was enjoying the post-engagement rush of pride and promise. While we walked, Katrina read me her favorite poetry from off her phone. I found myself loving her choices, understanding what resonated for her in each of them. It wasn't romantic, Katrina and me. It was romantic when Melissa would come home from one of her work events in her semi-formal dress, and I couldn't decide whether I was more eager to hear how her day went or run the zipper down the black diamond ski slope of her backside. I ended up doing one, then the other, though the order changed often. It was romantic when we'd count down from 3 and simultaneously say the same movie we wanted to watch on Friday nights. But with Katrina, was it romantic when you instinctively knew someone's very existence fascinated you, made you grateful? Finding it romantic would be missing the point, like valuing the sun because it was bright. I'm glad for the light, but really I'm grateful for the fact it sustains life on Earth. Not that Katrina sustains my life on Earth. No. Inelegant metaphor. It's over with Katrina. That's what's important. And presently, damning. Being compared to her and what we did together for the rest of my career is a death sentence. What are you saying? I'm finished? Hearing the words out loud nearly paralyzes me. It sends me back to those years in high school, before I'd shown anyone my writing. I wasn't athletic, wasn't particularly good-looking or funny. I had trouble talking to my peers. Even the wealthy family I came from didn't exactly distinguish me in the marble halls of my prep school. I was no one. Until I sent a short story to the New Yorker. I couldn't talk to my peers, but I could write for them. I could write my way onto their breakfast tables, next to their parents' grapefruit, into their older brothers' bedrooms, in piles they'd catch up on over winter breaks home from college. Nathan Van Huysen, the Nathan I was meant to be, was born on those pages, his life written in fine black print, elegant and undeniable. I'm not going to quit, Jen, I say. I'll write the best fucking book they've ever read. You're not finished, Jen says. I have a plan. Fine, I'll do it. What's your plan? You're not going to like it, she warns. I can handle whatever. I cut myself off, realizing what she has in mind with the penetrating clarity people probably have right before they're hit by an oncoming car. No. I drop the word onto the table between us. Hear me out. For once, Jen sounds gentle, persuasive. You still have a contract for one more book with her. Her. Jen's probably wise not to use her name. The visceral reaction I'd have would not help her case. I'm not the one holding things up, I say. If Parthenon wants Katrina, then they need to call Katrina. Parthenon's passed on your book because they're trying to force you to fulfill your contract with her. In my silence, Jen continues. If we can deliver something to them, I'll have the leverage to sell more of your solo titles. Fine. I alter on the syllable. Like I said, I'm perfectly able to deliver another Freeling Van Huysen book. It's Kat who will never agree. I wince, hearing myself use her shortened name. I shouldn't have said Kat. We're not friends. I don't need to have spoken to her in the past 4 years to know she won't do it. She made it painfully clear on the night we finished only once. Finished everything, really. I've already discussed it with her agent. He thinks he can get her on board. Discussed it with her agent? I'm irritated Jen's gone behind my back, opening this conversation with who knows who. She might even have gone to Parthenon. This ends here. Bullshit, I say. Are you calling me a liar? Jen isn't offended. She raises her eyebrows dryly. No, I reply. It's Chris you shouldn't believe. I know Katrina's agent. He used to be our agent. Chris Calloway would promise whatever to whomever if it would put him ahead. He is her fiancé, Jen reminds me. Presumably he has some insight into what she will and won't do. I crack a couple knuckles under the table. Why Katrina got together with Chris is outside my comprehension. She's retired, I say firmly. Katrina Freeling is retired. If the man she has married hasn't gotten the memo, I guess she'll need to write it in words with fewer syllables next time. Jen watches me. Respectfully, you haven't spoken to her in years, she says. How would you know? The ice in my drink shifts suddenly, tumbling down like it's punctuating her point. I know her. I hate how well I know her. It's not the fundamental things I wish I could unlearn. Her resoluteness, her intelligence. They're the things everyone knows. I wish I didn't know she's restless on planes, even a little fearful. I wish I didn't know she hates the word always. I wish I didn't know what time she showers and what she wears to bed. Jen's inquisitiveness turns delicate. I don't want to invade your privacy, she starts. You know I don't give a shit about the gossip. But this is a good move for your career. I need to know if there is a reason I shouldn't pursue it. I open my mouth. Not this retirement nonsense. A real reason, she preempts me. She's not asking whether Katrina's hard to work with, whether our styles no longer mesh, whether we just don't like each other. I know what she's asking. I finish my drink, the memories of our final night writing only once rolling over me, smothering like the Florida heat outside the house where we wrote the manuscript. Pages with her handwriting and mine scrawled on top of each other, the strokes and curves of the letters crossing like in a dance. Waiting in front of her door, a fire dying in the fireplace, the ashes of a charred paper in the air. Returning to writing with Katrina would be a nightmare. No, not writing is the nightmare. What's left of my career if I refuse? I'm only 31 years old. I've been writing since I was 17. It's the only thing I've ever wanted to do. The only thing I can do. Is there really no other choice? I ask, my voice low. Jen shakes her head. I stand, placing cash on the table. Is there a reason I can't work with Katrina? I have reason enough to fill books I'll never write. If Chris can convince her, and that's a big fucking if, then I don't have a problem with it. Jen hefts her purse onto her shoulder, standing up. Great. We'll make it happen. Start developing ideas. This'll be huge. That'll be something. I head for the front of the bar, not waiting for Jen's reply. Pushing open the burnished gold handle on the black door, I walk out, terrified by, and taking comfort in, what I know fundamentally to be true. Kat, Katrina, will never want to work with me.